Hello and welcome back everybody. Today we're finally gonna review a My Hero Academia manga chapter 211. A lot of people probably expected me to review the last chapter, but that didn't really happen because a lot of other things happened. I had to record some 12 days of anime content, and it was the first week we were really getting the official chapters on a Monday, so I didn't really know what time it was gonna come out. I wanted to really wait until the chapter did come out, and yeah, at that point was kind of late. So this week, however, we're on time because the chapters came out early. But let's talk about the chapter, okay? Because My Hero Academia chapter 211 was really quite a snack when you look at what really went down with Ochako. Obviously you had a whole development with Deku as well as some really interesting stuff between Shin Se and Monoma, which I'm gonna get into as well. In fact, I'm probably gonna get into that first, so let's just go right into that right now, okay? Because at the very beginning of the chapter we see how Monoma is getting some slight backstory, which is quite nice. I mean, I really do like the fact that we get to see how Monoma's background is actually very similar to Shin Se's, in the sense that he's being told that his quirk is not really a quirk you can rely on if you want to become a hero. It's not really a heroic quirk copying other people's powers, but much like Shin Se, he's really proving people wrong in that sense. He really is, and I like that. Especially given how big of a role he actually has in Class 1B. He is probably the most looked up to member in Class 1B right now, especially seeing as he seems to have this sort of leadership role going around, much like, you could probably argue Ida, Bakugo, Todoroki, or Deku has in Class 1A, where a lot of people really look up to these people in whatever way, especially Todoroki and Bakugo, in the sense that they're probably the strongest people in the class, right? In terms of Monoma, it's not really to do with power as much as it has to do with his other skill set. He really has a sense of intelligence that we don't really see from anyone in Class 1A, really. I mean, we do have similar levels of intelligence, but we don't really have the same type of intelligence. At least it isn't represented in the same way that they want to really represent Monoma. And I think that's quite interesting how a lot of people in UA have very different qualities, and you can really tell by just reading a little bit into these characters. Of course, we didn't really know a lot about Monoma until now, because we did not really know that his backstory was like Shin Se's, in the sense that he's been told he couldn't become a hero because of this quirk by other people around him. So really happy we got some insight on that. Now, let's talk about Deku first, because I think the whole thing with Deku is something that needs to be talked about, because something really crazy is happening to Deku right now in terms of his power. I think it's quite safe to assume that what's really happening to him is the quirk singularity, because earlier this arc, when Deku was having the dream, the first user One for All was telling Deku that he is past the point of singularity, right? Meaning that there's some things that's gonna happen to One for All while Deku is using it, and we don't really know exactly what that is, because we haven't really got that much information on the quirk singularity, exactly what it means or what it's supposed to be doing. What we do know in very vague terms is that it's sort of the point at which quirks become too strong, and they may end up having some really strange side effects or mutations that we can't really predict, much like you can predict other things in a series, because this is something that could really sprout in any kind of direction at this point. Now, what's really interesting about Deku's development is that when I read this chapter a second time, and I saw this on Twitter as well, was that you see this strange face in a panel beneath Deku, which is very odd and very, I guess, sinister in a way, because the face you see isn't really that of a positive expression, and we don't really know who this character is. We can probably assume it's a previous holder of One for All who is somehow connecting to Deku. We don't really know how. I mean, there's no information on it at this time, other than the fact that we saw this really obscure face. We really only got to see the eyes of this character, and that's not really enough to really determine what's going on just yet. We're gonna have to wait a few chapters probably to really find out what's truly going on with Deku's power right now. What we do know is that Ochako is trying to help out, and that is something that has a lot of people hyped up, because, well, of course a lot of people want to see development between Deku and Ochako. However, I really want to wait, because I don't really think this is anything to do with the relationship. I think this is mostly going to help Ochako grow as a character, and that is something that I am looking forward to, because before this arc, I believe this was after the internship arc, Ochako mentioned that she wants wants to start helping people, opposed to at the beginning of this series when she wanted to mostly make money to help her family. So we've already had some development with Ochako in the sense of what she really wants to do with her hero career, but now we're really seeing how she's actually jumping into the fray much like Deku would, and she's actually holding on to Deku with her power in check, causing Deku to be in a zero gravity sort of hold. And we're gonna have some development with Shin Se as well, because she was calling out to Shin Se, and that is something that I really want to see more about. I really want to see exactly what kind of development we're gonna see between Shin Se and Deku, because as we know from the sports festival, Shin Se and Deku had a fight, and Shin Se used his quirk on Deku, which caused Deku to lose control of his body, but somehow he was able to connect with One for All in some kind of way. Of course, at that point it was extremely vague and a very weak connection between him and the quirk, but right now, given the dream he's having and the development with the quirk is really going through, I think we're gonna see something a lot bigger happening to Deku and One for All as a quirk. I certainly think we're gonna see him get stronger. I don't really think this is sort of a power-up just yet, because definitely looks more like a mutation than anything. I think it's gonna be an extension of the quirk at best, but I don't really think it's gonna be a straight-up power-up. It's not really gonna be like a transformation, like a Super Saiyan transformation that's just gonna make him stronger. I think it's gonna be something very different to that, probably a little bit more complex than just straight up powering up. But that's just me. I mean, it could go either way at this point. This is all speculation, as you'd imagine. But beyond that, there isn't really a lot I have to say about this chapter, to be honest, even though it was a good chapter, a really good chapter in fact, and there's a lot of speculation to be had, but I don't really want to go too much into speculation in a review, if you know what I mean. I really want to kind of stick to what we have, so I'm probably going to end this review right now. So I would love to know what you guys think down below in the comments, what's really going on with Deku, and what do you think of this whole development with Ochako, because Ochako, obviously, as we know, she's hugging him and using her quirk on him, and we don't really know what that's going to lead to. Maybe she's gonna get hurt, maybe she won't, you know. Let me know down below in the comments what you think, and as always, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember everybody, Toga is waifu, Toga is life.